He calls me back. He says, "Okay, man, pack your bags. I'm gonna send you to Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling." I was like, "Yeah, man, that's
Going
my,
home.
yeah, exactly.
Going home, baby.
I'm I'm going home. So I end up in Mid Atlantic, but then at least I go back to one man gang. I didn't have to be Crusher Broomfield. I get switched back to one man gang, but at least I'm at home. I'm in Mid Atlantic, what I grew up with. And that was like the greatest thing ever for me. That was unbelievable to be in Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling, going to these buildings, Asheville Civic Center, Charlotte, Coliseum, Greenville Memorial Auditorium, and people ask me, well, what's the best place you ever wrestled at? They all thinking I'm gonna say Madison Square Garden or whatever. I tell them, man, Spartanburg, South Carolina, man, my home, man. That was the biggest thing ever for me to walk through them back doors the guys used to go through, go in that dressing room, and be in the same dressing room with all them stars I used to pay $5 to go watch. I'm like, man, that was the biggest thing ever for me. But the catch is, the old saying, you can't go back home. So that's basically true. I went home and you go to Spartanburg to wrestle and you got all your school buddies and chums and things, they all know you now. So they all like, man, that ain't no one man gang. That's George Gray. I know him. I grew up with him. We lived with next door neighbors with him. He ain't no one man gang. So, I mean, that was the worst thing to me. I couldn't. Everybody, was your friend then. Yeah, you remember me? You sat beside me in this class or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
So were any of the guys then that you grew up watching, were they still there?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they were there, man. I got to team up with number one Paul Jones. I always loved Paul Jones. Got to my first. I had a lot of matches, but Jimmy Valiant was there. I had a big run with Jimmy Valiant. I mean, he's like Jimmy Valiant. Come on, man, Valiant brothers from New York and all that. What you talking about?
Yeah.
Had crazy Bugsy McGraw was there. Had well, a lot of people may not know him, but I grew up watching him with Johnny Weaver. Man, I got in the ring with Johnny Weaver. I was like, man, this is Johnny Weaver. What are you talking about? The king of the sleeper holds, I said, please put that sleeper on me.
That's awesome.
But, I got to go over him. I'm like, man, he's crazy. I get to beat Johnny Weaver. This ain't real. And then one of my biggest, again, I ain't going to say my biggest match, but it was me and Greg Valentine against Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. I'm like, God dang, man, this is, it's like and this is only a few years after ICW. This ain't that, what I'm saying, this ain't that far down the road. And here I am already working against Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. I'm like, gosh, dang it, man, this can't be real, So, and I'm starting to get a little better. I'm starting to pick up a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to cut a few interviews here and all that. I still had a manager. Everywhere I went, I had a manager. I had Akbar. I had Jim Cornette in Memphis. And then when I got to Mid Atlantic, I was in the house of Humperdinck, Sir Oliver Humperdinck. So I was with him. So it was me, Dick Slater. I forget who else, but that was the main core was 3 or 4 guys, the House of Humperdinck. So, but I had the big run with Jimmy Valiant was probably the biggest thing I did there. They put the Mid Atlantic Tag Team titles on me and Kelly Kaninsky, but I have no idea why. They had a one-night tournament in Greenville, South Carolina, and I had no idea. I just thought, well, we just go up there and get beaten, go home. But we kept winning, and finally they said, okay, we're going to put the belts on you guys. So, the final match, we win the tag team titles. I'm like, what the heck? These are the Mid Atlantic tag team titles, man. All the great people that's ever wore these, and now I get to. I'm one of them. I was like, God dang.
Big gold and a billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap, and when it